Au tumia sanitizer ya mikono. Usikaribiane na wenzako. Funika mdomo unapopiga chafya na kukohoa. Kwa maelezo zaidi, piga simu kwa nambari 719 au bonyeza *719#. Komesha corona, okoa maisha.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome to another yet exciting episode of Dating Right. My name is Kawera Rosenyaga, and today we are talking about rebuilding trust after it has been broken. Okay, so I know that if you're watching us today and you've been in a relationship before, I know that you are a victim of this. Your trust has been broken at some point and you didn't know how you can rebuild it so that you can probably get back the relationship to how it was. But according to Susan, who is with me in the studio, we were just talking and she was like, that is not going to happen that easily, or perhaps it might not even happen at all. So karibu sana Susan.
Thank you.
Yeah, Susan is a life coach, and she's also the founder of Green Life. Okay, so you can probably talk about Green Life. What is it really about, and what do you guys do before we start?
Okay, so Green Life is a not for profit organization, and we steer up the agenda of mental health and wellness through coaching. So just to ensure that we contribute to the society and making sure that people are living meaningful lives, people are becoming the best versions of themselves.
Nice. So if you've been broken and you want to mend your heart, you can see Susan, yeah? So Susan, I think we are just going to get right into it. So betrayal is very common among the young people. I'm telling you, if you go to the memes right now, they're just talking about kurudi soko. I don't know whether you've seen that.
Unaosha sura unarudi
soko immediately. So let's first of all understand what is betrayal in the context of a relationship.
So it's very simple. Betrayal is when one party breaks the contract. We had agreed that this is how we are going to be, this is how our relationship will be, and when one person does not honor that agreement, then that is a betrayal.
So when you say a contract,
yes,
agreement, because young people just get into the relationship, we do not sit and agree that this is what is supposed to be done. So do you suggest that it is even important for you to prevent the betrayal? Do you sit and agree this is our contract, this is the do's and don'ts?
Yeah, so usually people say there are some unwritten rules in relationships that when we maybe automatically become girlfriend and boyfriend, it is assumed that we are not supposed to have any other relationship with the partner of the opposite sex or the same sex. But rarely do we sit down with our partners to say, this is what we will accept and this is what we will not accept. So most of the time it is the unwritten rules that when broken, then they are taken up as a betrayal. But better still, if you sat down, agreed before the relationship started, and then just the person is able to tell you, yes, this I can do, this I can't do, and you have a form of agreement, it's even better for the relationship.
Yeah, I think that's very important because you might do something and you think it's okay, but your partner finds it not okay.
Absolutely.
So before we even go to rebuilding the trust, let's also delve into understanding what betrayal is. And I know the common one is infidelity. So talk to us about infidelity and also other forms of betrayal that can come from your partner.
So when you look at betrayal, you're looking at what was betrayed in that relationship. So the first being common is infidelity, and when infidelity as it is trust that has been broken. So I think in any relationship you need to ask yourself what value or what contract was broken. So if you broke trust and this person trusted that you are going to only be with them, and you ended up being with another person, then that is infidelity and you have broken trust. The other way you can break trust is when you go ahead and tell your spouse's secrets out there, maybe the financial status. You had agreed that we're going to have trust with each other. I'm going to trust you with my financial status. I'm going to tell you maybe I have sexual problems or I have medical illnesses. But then this other spouse goes ahead and tells the friends or the family that, do you know what, this person has this and this. So they have betrayed the trust that they had together. Other betrayals could be you had agreed to have family values, when you have a family. But when you find this person does not honor the family values and does not want to go out on family events or spend holidays with you, then you violated that right.
Or they don't want to have children.
Or they don't want to have children. Again, if you had agreed that we are going to have children, and then you go ahead and say, you know what, I don't want to have children, that is actually, betrayal, because that was not the initial agreement. So it depends, which value are you breaking in that relationship? Are you breaking the love? Are you breaking the trust? Are you, what are you breaking in that relationship?
Thank you so much for that. And also another question that many people ask is whether betrayal can be intentional or it can be done not in a deliberate way.
Yeah, betrayal can be intentional. Betrayal can also not be intentional, depending on your agreement. So you'd find that somebody can just say, you know what, yes, we agreed that I will not sleep with somebody else, but I'm going to do it. And this could be driven because of, vengeance. Somebody just wants to revenge, or this person just does not keep their word. So that could be intentional. Unintentional, you just didn't know it would be harmful to your partner, and it could be genuine. Why? Again, we did not discuss what was allowed in this relationship and what was not going to be allowed in this relationship.
I think before you even continue, we should actually tackle the biggest question. Before we go to the steps and everything, please tell us, is rebuilding trust possible?
Well, I usually, as a coach, everything is possible if you're both willing to do it. If you choose that you want to do this, then you can build trust. It's also very important to know what was the reason behind and this, and if the reasons were acceptable in both parties, that I understand this is why you did what you did, then I think you can really rebuild that relationship.
So it's possible, but can it go back to 100%?
It is possible, number one, but with a lot of time, effort, and consistency and persistency. Yeah. Can it go back to 100%? Not at all. The minute you violate or the minute you betray somebody, that person has changed. They are not the same. Whether you like it or not, you have coded something in their brains.
Wow.
The simplest way of looking at it, there's a code that has been created that you cannot erase. So you're not going to use the old methods for somebody who's new. So both the betrayed and the betrayer now have new identities. You are betrayer, I am the betrayed. We can never go back. So the minute you accept that we are now different people in this state, and we start building on a relationship based on the fact that now you're betrayed and I'm a betrayer and there are consequences to that, build from there. And don't hope that we'll go back to being the same, because when you go back to being what you are, it will lead to another betrayal, because exactly that's what led to this betrayal. So always be ready to start afresh and accept that the person you betrayed is not the same. It will never be the same.
So people can never go back to the sweet times.
No.
But there's
No. We're not saying
sweet times can be created.
New sweet times. The fact that we're not going back to who said maybe it was the best. They can even be sweeter.
Wow.
But just know it's not going to be the same. It's for you to decide. Are we making it even sweeter, or even bitter.
Wow. And also, before we continue, someone argued and said that it's possible after betrayal you rebuild trust and your relationship becomes better. How true is that?
Well, like I said, anything is possible. Yes, if both of you are committed. You're committed to doing this if you honor each other, you love each other, and you have learned. See, again, there are people who learn. And the minute they think of doing that act again and they remember, they say, wacha ikai, sitaki, whatever happened last time, I don't want it to reoccur. So it gives them a very strong emotion to defend an action. Other than someone who has never betrayed before, they don't have that emotional strength, I call it emotional muscle. You know, when you lift a 5 kg, you cannot even lift a 10 kg. If you betrayed before, if you maybe, you are very weak and you ended up just consenting, and now you've learned, your emotional muscles are stronger. So you can even be able to prevent betrayal better than the person who's never betrayed.
Wow.
Only if you're intentional though.
Because you can be able to identify the what are they called? Mtego.
Utakuwa umeiona haraka na unaweza jembe, I remember what it did to me. It's time for me to leave to go back home.
So you can be able to identify the mtego and
yes,
to take another route.
Yes, you're better built to do that. Yeah.
So let's now delve into the elephant in the house and talk about now the rebuilding trust from the onset.
Yeah.
I've woken up, shetani akaniambia niangalie simu, nikaangalia simu and I got very bad messages. From that point I've been broken. Does building trust begin from there? Where does rebuilding trust begin from?
So ulienda ukatafuta,
nikapata.
So ulipata nini? Ulipata message that the first thing is just to go to the partner and ask what it is, because when you go with an intention of looking for something, however black and white it looks like or not, you will interpret it the way you want to interpret it. So I think the first thing is just to present your case. This is what I was looking for, and this is what I have found. And what it is saying to me is that you have been having a relationship with partner A, based on the text that they have sent. According to our agreement, you are not supposed to see any other person other than me, and so I feel betrayed. Depends what the response from the other side is. If they are acknowledging that yes, that has been happening, are they remorseful? Are they sorry? I don't think it's important for you to know why. Because why do you want to know?
Because why did you betray me? That's very crucial.
Well, it can help. Why did you betray? It could be
my problem. Could that be? Because most of the people who have been betrayed, they go back and they ask themselves, could it be that there's something I didn't do or there's something I did?
Okay, so Kawira, I'll just ask you. So when you get that answer, how will that help?
It will help probably if I was not romantic, I can now become more romantic.
But are you a romantic person as Kawira?
Wow, I don't know. I just feel like if I find out why he maybe cheated, and he can say probably after you became my girlfriend, you no longer used to do the things that you used to do. You no longer bought me presents. You no longer hugged me. You no longer did those small things that you used to do, and that's why it led me to cheating. Maybe I can work on that. What do you think?
I think cheating is a choice, and it should not be based on the other person. Those are just excuses. And I don't think anybody, let's say I'm the one who's betrayed, I should not take that blame. When you decided to cheat, it has got nothing to do with me. Nothing. So if you felt like I changed, you should have asked me, should have come and tell me, you know what, Susan, I think you're no longer as warm. Could you please be warm like you used to be? Okay, then I'll try and be warm. Because if I'm a joyful person, I will forever be joyful.
Sure.
So if you decided to cheat, it was your decision, not mine, and it should not be it has got nothing to do with me. So even if I asked you why you cheated, I don't think there's an answer you will tell me
that will make you feel better.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't. There's nothing. It is a decision you made, and the moment you start having reasons as to why and basing them maybe on me or maybe your job, but that was your problem. That was not my problem. Yeah.
So now the partner has agreed. I mean, they have said sorry, they are remorseful as you put it, they are very sorry about their actions, and they want to rebuild trust.
Yes.
These two couples, they are very bitter at that point. I want to believe, the wounds are so fresh. How do they take it up from there?
So as a person, I think they should go back to their identity. So as the betrayer, what is your identity after doing that act? And am I ready as the betrayed to accept that character? Are you willing to change that character? And am I willing to wait for you to do that? And so if you can answer those questions, and actually the questions being yes, then you start the long, difficult, persistent, consistent journey of faith of rebuilding that trust.
So probably let's talk about this, the early stages of someone has been betrayed and you're really trying to build trust. Someone has apologized and you really want to. You want to. I've had people saying that your heart wants to, but your mind is not really able to at that particular point. As the betrayed, how do you really deal with all those kind of mixed reaction? You really don't want this partner to go, you don't want to let them go, you want to rebuild the trust, but you're so heartbroken to just start the process.
So I think time is the best healer. And being patient enough to give yourself time to process that pain, accepting that I am feeling a lot of pain. And I usually say pain is not bad. In fact, we should be embracing pain at any one point. That's always my philosophy. And you take time to address that pain, to acknowledge what it has done for you. If taking time means a separation, that's okay. If whatever taking time looks like for you, but I think time is a factor for both. And as you take time, you're processing what happened and how it has affected you and how you want to move going forward. The other thing is also communication. You need to communicate to your partner what you're feeling at every one point, being able to probably seek clarity if so to speak. So I think communication is also a very big factor. Patience, but this will take time, is also a key thing that both parties should be able to acknowledge. That you need to have patience. You need to also have a heart of forgiveness. And forgiveness means that you're willing to let go of that act so that you can be whole. You're not forgiving so that things can go back to normal. No, you're forgiving so that you don't feel the pain, and so you're doing it for you. It's an individual journey. The betrayer forgives themselves. The betrayed also needs to forgive themselves. So it's letting go of that pain and embracing positive feelings.
And we can probably talk about communication, and you mentioned that's very important for you to communicate to your partner and tell them how you feel. But if we look at it in a very realistic way, most of the times when you're angry and you're very bitter, you don't even communicate the way it's supposed to be done. You're shouting, you're even sometimes calling names. So as the betrayed, when the betrayer is acting like that, they are communicating, but now how they are communicating is triggering other emotions. So how do they deal with that when the betrayed is kind of venting as a way of communication?
At that point, when you realize that it is anger and that you're venting, you should stop.
Okay.
There are a lot of consequences that come because of venting and anger. People have been jailed because of that anger. You've stabbed somebody, So those are very strong feelings that you need to just stop. stop and take time away when you notice that you're only venting, because venting is dangerous. It can make you do things, it can make you say things that you did not want to say. And the whole intention is you're feeling like you need to get it out, you need to get that pain out. But that's not the way you get that pain out. The only way you get that pain out is through time. Time to process what you feel. So I would not, the minute a couple is realizing that the betrayed is venting so much, please take time apart. Take time apart, because you are not communicating. Kawira, for me to communicate with you, that message, you need to receive it. I have to have prepared that message, found the right time, the right tone, the right mood, so that I can be able to communicate to you, Kawira, that this is what you have made me feel, and to have you receive that message. So for me, when you start venting and you are not communicating, you are just pouring out anger, and the consequences of anger are dire. So you don't want to get there. Take time. Take time to process that pain out.
Wow, thank you so much for that. So you talked about the betrayer being able to forgive themselves, and the betrayed also being able to forgive themselves. So people always assume that when you're building trust, it has to do with both of you, like all of you have to be in one journey. Is there different journeys, for lack of a better word? Is there different paths, or what is the role of the betrayed when they're trying to rebuild trust, and what is the role of the betrayer when they're trying to also rebuild the trust in the relationship?
We must accept and appreciate that people are different. In every role, for us to have a good union, we have to be separate as people. So when you're taking this journey, you're not taking that journey as a couple, you're taking an individual journey. And that's the only way you will end up meeting at the end, if at all you will meet. But each of you have a journey to take, and your journey is different. So everyone should be encouraged to take their journey. The betrayed needs to take a journey of understanding why they betrayed. The betrayer needs to take, no, the betrayed needs to take a journey to understand what the impact of the betrayal has had. The betrayer needs to take a journey to understand why did I be betrayed. So there are two different journeys, and they should be taken separately.
So all of them have different journeys, yeah?
They all have to take their journey differently and by themselves. And then after that, they can take the journey together.
So thank you so much for joining us. This is Dating Right. My name is Kawira Rose. Today we are talking about rebuilding trust. So if you have any comment, if you have any question, please rush to all our social media platforms at DGTV Kenya and drop it right there. So right now we are taking a very short commercial break. Please don't go any further.
Since late last year, the coronavirus COVID-19 has emerged as a serious healthcare threat. This is an infection that has gone global and no one has been spared. The government, through the Ministry of Health, has put in measures to keep Kenyans safe against COVID-19, which is currently rampant around the world, with new confirmed infections and death cases daily. Such sanitization and screening of visitors at this border post and across every entry point in the country is very vital in preventing the spread of the disease in the country.
I'm very happy about the screenings that are going on in Tanzania and Kenya. I think it's very proactive that you're thinking about stopping it at the border so that it does not spread.
It is scary that a single cough here can lead to an outbreak of epic proportions. In order to prevent that, the government has instituted measures to keep Kenyans safe.
The facility has all the equipments you need, from handling a basic patient up to ICU setting.
However, you also have a role to play in preventing spread of infections.
Citizen responsibility is the key to the success of this initiative and these measures. Let's all do what we have to do individually. And this is how we are going to defeat this disease.
It's just our general hygiene, okay? And that now means at workplaces, we should ensure that our work surfaces are clean.
Always ensure that nimefanya proper sanitation ya mikono. Every time na board matatu, lazima ni sanitize mikono.
We have faced many severe challenges as a nation, and we have always found a way to rise above them. COVID-19 is no different, and we will overcome the pandemic. Stop coronavirus. Follow all directives from the Ministry of Health. Wash your hands properly.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you so much for choosing DGTV Kenya. My name is Kawera Roznyaga and this is Dating Right. I have Susan Owuor with me in the studio. She is a life coach and she's also the founder of Green Life. So asante sana Susan for being patient with us up to this point. So we were talking about the two journeys. People have to take those journeys individually. Yeah. So let's talk about are there specific steps that a couple should follow from one level to another so that you know there's some progress? Are there specific steps towards rebuilding trust?
Well, I usually say every couple is different, but overall, first of all, they take the journey as themselves so that they become self-aware. But of course, this is a journey involving two people. Eventually, they come in and meet, and after taking let's say 4 to 6 weeks of just understanding what happened, and so they can and the anger has calmed down, and they're ready to listen to each other and have a constructive conversation. So then at that point of meeting, it's important that they become very vulnerable to each other. They say what they have learned. They build more more, I don't want to call them rules, but they can build boundaries. Actually it's building boundaries between the two, ensuring that they respect each other in that process, and both of them should be able to articulate themselves and say, this is what I am, this is how I felt about the betrayal, and this is how I am moving forward after the betrayal. For the other partner to know that yes, you have betrayed me, I have forgiven you, and I'm willing to put that back and focus. Going forward, I will not mention this betrayal in our relationship again, and I want us to continue being happy, even better. So maybe that could be a conversation from the one who was betrayed. And the betrayer would say, I have, yes, betrayed you. Maybe it was a betrayal of, going out of a relationship with another lady. I don't think the reason is important. What is important is what was the will to build that relationship, to apologize, to accept the feelings of the partner, and to say, moving forward, this is what I would want for this relationship. And as time goes by, they build boundaries. This one might say the next time you actually do the same act again, I will leave the relationship, and you stand by it. The other boundary could be, expectations. This is what I expect from this relationship. It would make me more satisfied, so to speak. But I think it's just quite a lot of communication going on there about what to expect, what I'm going to, and also just verbalizing that yes, I have forgiven you, and I'm ready to walk this journey again with you. So that's what I can say.
So you've talked about, these two people. If we talk about even their roles just a little bit, but you've mentioned it in the process. We must, I don't know if it's correct, but does the betrayer have a bigger role to play when trust is being rebuilt?
The betrayer definitely has, because they have to win the trust again.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of work to do. The question is, how will they do that?
Exactly.
And the journey is just being able to communicate again, being very open. So if they found a text in your phone, you see already that phone is a reminder of that text. So the moment you start hiding your phone, already again is a red flag. So your behaviors need to really change as the betrayer. You need to understand the impact that it had on your partner. And you need to really be patient, and you really need to be committed, consistent, and persistent. So yes, they have a bigger burden to carry. But if they're willing to do it, why not?
Why not? Huh? So let's talk about this happens a lot in relationships, and when we are talking about rebuilding, we're only basing it on one case. We were just betrayed and then we are rebuilding it. But in most cases in today's relationships, someone does one thing and it's very disappointing. You rebuild trust, then in the process they repeat the same thing. Now you go back to zero. I mean, in that kind of context, what happens to the trust that you're trying to rebuild when your partner literally repeats the same mistake after like a span of even 6 months after they said sorry?
The question is, for the betrayed, the question is, trust is a big thing for them. There are things we call non-negotiable values. If that person repeatedly breaks your trust, what boundaries did you set the first time they broke your trust? Maybe you must have said, trust is important for me. The minute you break trust, I am not going to date you again. Did you stand by those, that boundary? Did you defend that boundary? Because if you are not strong enough to defend, and that's why the second time it's happening, and the third time it will happen again, and the fourth time. So you need to be very conscious that, what are my core values? If I'm not going to negotiate trust with anybody, the consequences of not having trust in this relationship is that I am going to leave, and you leave.
Situ ya mdomo.
But
someone would argue that relationships are about forgiving each other. You don't have to be wronged one time and then you walk away. So sometimes yet you might want to leave, but even the betrayer are very manipulative in terms of asking for forgiveness and saying, look, yeah, I know it, I have repeated it, but I'll not again.
It's about you, really. It's how you feel. How do you feel when this person repeatedly betrays you? How do you feel? If you're okay, well, then that's fine. But if you're bruised and it takes you 2 weeks and it makes you moody, it makes you not the person you want to be, it's affecting you, why would you want to be in that relationship? Love yourself enough to say, I'm not going to take this. But there's some people who have no problem with that. They'll be like, sawa, break again. Me, it doesn't affect me. I still go to work. If it does not affect your daily living, if it does not affect your mood, then trust is not your core value. So you can live forgive, and move on with your life. But if it is affecting you, if it is affecting how you relate with people, if it's affecting your work, if it's affecting how you wake up in the morning, I don't think it's fair for you to be doing that to yourself. It's not fair.
It's not fair. So if you're watching and you've been there, it's not fair.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the betrayer. In pursuit of trying to rebuild trust, what are some of the specific things that you can recommend them to do? Of course, the bigger one is not repeating that mistake. But in the process, what are the small things that they can put into practice towards, winning their partner back again?
But I think authenticity is key. Just let them be themselves. Let them be the version that person loved. Let them just be themselves. Don't try to do things if you don't mean it from your heart. Don't start cooking and you never cook.
But you want to do that to impress her, to show a sign of
confidence. It's not you. It's not you. Just do what makes you you. Be honest. Be authentic. If you're a loving person, and how you show love or how the person receives love, actually it's how the person receives love, do that for them. But I think in all this, just be true to yourself. There's no formula. Be authentic, be true to yourself. Be sorry from your heart, and it comes out. I am sorry I did this to this person that I love so much, and going forward I'm going to just be myself, and I'm going to offer myself to this person the way they want to receive love. So I don't think there's it's not too complicated or anything. Just be authentic. If you're sorry, let it come from your heart, and practice how you apologize as a person from the depth of your heart. There's no practice that you're told now. Every Monday you send flowers. Every Tuesday you give me a report on how you're doing on betrayal. Every day you write a composition. No, it's just be authentic with yourself. Be ready to work on yourself, and anything that you have centered from your heart to do and to change, it will be seen. It's like people smiling, but is the smile coming from inside out? It's coming from inside out, then you will see. But if it's just it's for this show now I have to smile, it's fake. So if you're really authentic, you're the betrayer, and you're sorry, be sorry from your heart, and
the rest will come out.
Yes.
So let's talk about insecurities and in rebuilding trust, because they'll be there. Okay, I know we can sugarcoat and say, you have to, especially for the betrayed. It's like is a Swahili saying, mtu akiona nyoka, the first time you see a snake, you get scared. So the next time you see a rope, you equally get scared, because you know what happened the last time. So if we are talking about the insecurities now in these relationships, if there's a text, nikiona umepigiwa simu usiku, it will ring into my mind, wow, it's that girl who could be calling you. So between these two people, how do they deal with the insecurities? Now the betrayer and the betrayed, because they'll be there and they cannot avoid that.
That's a good question. It's just reassurance. Anything will just trigger you. So it's very important that the betrayed gets reassured by the betrayer. Let there be an open relationship. If it's a matter of text, don't go with your phone to the bathroom. Leave it there. Those are simple acts. When you're sleeping, try and put the phone away. Actually, give her the ability to just be free. If there's nothing you're hiding, it will be felt. That's what I'm trying to say. Just be free. If there's a phone call, you can say, baby, give me that phone. They'll look, of course, and they'll say, okay. And you speak when you're there. Because this slowly by slowly, will make this girl not be too. Because again, it's repeated actions, repeated positive actions that will take away that negative action. But it's like you have to have very many repeated positive actions. So, number one, don't be with your phone like this. Let it just be there. If it's ringing, pick. Don't answer some calls outside. just
Don't give them reasons.
Don't give them
Doubt
reason.
you.
Yeah, just be true. And when you're true to yourself, you don't have anything to hide. It will just come. When a phone comes, you don't have anything to hide. Stop putting passwords on WhatsApp, because when you put password, like again, she'll be like, hey, make a password. Just do the things that people who don't have anything to hide do. Hakuna password kila mahali. If you want my phone, please pass my phone. You're not going to give your phone to the bathroom. You know, yeah, just those are the ways that you can, you know, you have to do a lot of positive things to just cater for this one negative thing that you did. Yeah.
So you should be careful actually when you betray.
You should be careful. It's a lot of work, so yeah, you need to be careful.
Okay, so even as we are winding up the show, we are talking about rebuilding trust, and sometimes you say it is possible, but sometimes it can be, you know, impossible. So for a couple who which has been trying to rebuild trust, what are the signs that you look out when you are like, okay, this cannot be rebuilt? Like you've really tried to do whatever that you can do. So what do you look out when you're like, okay, I think it's the right time is to pack my things, or just to collect myself, however difficult it is, and move on. So when do you know that this trust cannot be rebuilt?
So the first thing, it starts with you. When you feel like there are a lot of things that are reminding you, that are causing you pain as you're trying to build this trust, then you need, those are some red flags. It's been over, let's say, 6 months. Honestly, this lady or this guy has been trying to prove that they are good to you, but for some reason your feelings are they're not gelling. Trust your instincts. If they're not, and if they're hindering your day-to-day activity, just know it's time to stop. If you're waking up, you're feeling sad, you're still crying, you can't go and do activities that you used to like, you can't see your friends, you can't look at this guy in the eye, he just disgusts you. You know, anything, he's even just taking a pen like this. What is it? You know, already, surely, you cannot force yourself. And it's been over a period of time, just let it go. But if it's affecting you, it's affecting how you're living for a period of time, it just makes it's not working.
It's not working. It doesn't have to work. And then also we are talking about relationships. We're not talking about marriage. So you have an opportunity, an easy opportunity,
easier
to walk out and find another partner. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Susan, for having time for us, for having us in your very beautiful office. As you can see, guys, we are in Green Life. Here in Lavington, Nairobi, Kenya. So thank you so much for hosting us. We really appreciate. And also at home, asante sana for having us. Until we meet next time, goodbye for now.